That doesn't mean they shouldn't find somebody else.
I'm not the one for you in this season. Maybe you might need to be primed a little more. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's just not me. Right. Mm-hmm. It's a bunch of us. Like, now that we did go through COVID, we have really got a lot of groups together. Like, and I'm not throwing any shade to my white counterparts. Hats off to you. However, there's been a long time when we weren't as present as we're able to be now. And so we have things like Black Therapist Rob. Remember. You know what I'm saying? Like, we show up, like we support one another because we want to be the best that we can be so that we get to show up. If you run across a therapist and she rubs you the wrong way, keep looking. Keep looking. Mm-hmm. Keep looking. Mm-hmm. And then when you realize that maybe the relationship with that therapist has transitioned into some, have that conversation. Because by that time, you on some big girl stuff. You paying for a service. Mm-hmm. I am your paid best friend. I can't tell your business. I'm going to lose my letters. You're not doing that. So you ain't got to worry about hearing it again from me. Even if we go to court, baby, they got the version I don't recall. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to you is, at some level, when do we get to trust somebody? Mm-hmm. When do we get to not hold everything so close to our heart and be able to say, in this space, I just want to be, I need you to know all parts of me. And not just what I'm willing to bring to the surface in this moment. But you got to put work in that relationship. That's time. That's work. Mm-hmm. Be calling me when your ass is on fire.
We ain't worked up to that yet.
Well, every week you on fire, but you don't never do your homework and stuff. What?
I don't like it.
Bring it. If you coming for, show up. Mm-hmm. Because it's work. But it's so worth it.
Yes, it is.
It's so worth it. And it don't always look pretty. I never told right, once you start healing, you're going to be perfect. We're still going to make, I'm not even going to call them mistakes, because mistakes is how we learn. I make decisions, and based on the information I have, most of the time, I'm going to make a decision that seems like it benefits me. I'm doing pros and cons. All right, check this out. This is what we're doing. Right. Even if it means going back to something that I feel like might not be the best. If I'm just trying, we got adults here, right? Mm-hmm. Even if I'm just trying to bust a nut, listen, if this is what I'm doing and I know that this is what I'm doing, just go do it.
I hate that pros and cons list.
Yeah, you gotta do it. And look, watch this. And it doesn't always mean that quantity is not the quality of it. Mm-hmm. Like, I can have all of these cons, but if I have these pros over here, then are they even apples to apples? Mm-hmm. Right. Like, you know, like. If your green dot cards stay on full, like, listen, all right, you gonna work on it. We're gonna get you a secured next. You're gonna graduate to you an old Capital One. You know, it's a process.
Patience.
You know what I'm saying? And if this is it, then we'll walk that walk together. But I've got to be able to be vulnerable and trust you enough to see past your and die. You know, but our trauma says, and my trauma is simply just the way I remember things. Mm-hmm. Remember, it's not the whole way it happened. I can only see it from my perspective. Right. We can all see the same thing and see it differently. Mm-hmm. But if the way that I saw it has me feeling a way, that's my trauma, and I don't have to qualify it. Just don't. Just help me get better with it, so that every time something comes up that looks like it, I don't re-experience that thing over and over again. Mm. Just want to keep going. Just want to live and not just exist.
So how do you start that process? Like, somebody comes to you, they sign up for therapy. What does that first day look like?
The funny part is, you know, it's funny that you would ask me that now, because my first day now looks different than my first day back when all I knew about was what I learned about in school. Mm-hmm. You know, so since since you get out here and you then you start to see things differently. So my first day now looks a little bit different. I have to do an assessment because the insurance companies that I pray I ain't taking that much longer because they require it. I do the assessment. The assessment for them is about labeling you, which is not something I like to do. You know what I'm saying? So we are a problem from the beginning because for me, any symptom that you have is most times due to a trauma that you have endured and survived. So why come I gotta say you got ADHD when all you know is I can't keep attention because I was never given attention. But anyway, so you come in and we do, but I don't do the questionnaire anymore. I do a conversational because I want to know what's on top today. You can take me back to childhood because that's probably where part of the pattern is. But right now, something today got you in here. After I done talked slick to you on the phone and told you if you miss 3 times, if you don't come, I need your whole fee off your card. Listen, all that. Now I done switch it. I want your copay before you come. Listen. So I done talked all that. So when you got here, you got some stuff going on. I don't want to take you back there. I need you to take me here and take me back there at your pace. Because first you gotta feel safe. So we in there, we talk. When you come to my office, like it's an experience. My business is called Serenity. So it's a serenity experience. So there's tea there. In my office, there's a waterfall in my office. It's an experience. And so you're up in my office, the waterfall is waterfalling, and I have a yellow rug and, you can take your shoes off unless your feet stink. We got a lot going on here, right? We're here for it. We showed up. Okay.
And I'm just trying to set the scene for
somebody
who's never had therapy
before. And so this is what it can look like. Now I ain't telling you you're not gonna go to somebody's office and listen, right now what she got is what she got. I've been blessed. I started with 1 suite. I have 6 now. Because it's an experience. But what happens is when you can feel seen and heard in a space where you feel safe, there is something validating about that, just in its pure essence. So by the time you leave there, most times if you came to see me, you are seeking another appointment. Unless you just ain't trying to do the thing with me. So most times you come in, we just get to scratch the surface. Let me hear you. Let me hear who you are right now in this season. Because who you are in this season may be because of those other seasons. But now you have a choice. So, so we do all of those things. Of course, the paperwork and everything is already signed because if you're in my office, you have filled them out because if you didn't, you're not in my office. That's just a boundary. When you get there. It's a boundary. Right. We start to have boundaries when we're healing from trauma. Like I said what I said. No is a complete sentence. There's no comma. I like that. There's a period. There's no comma. Okay. There's a period. Yeah. The little 1-year-old taught me that. I said, give me the thing. She said, no. That's a complete sentence. They told you. Out of the mouth of babes, right? So it can look different in different places. Like for me, I am, like I said, a traumatologist. I understand the very essence of trauma. I am trauma. Until I met what trauma healing looked like. So for me, usually I'll give you a tour because I need you to see the room downstairs that I call my brain spotty room that has that feeling. Like when you go in that room, you know that we didn't come to play. Right? It's just
time to get some work done.
It's like you got the table over here because that's for the hypnosis and the inner child work. Then you got the chairs that are so beautiful. They support you. You don't have to hold your own back up. You can let your back lay back so that the chair can support you and you don't have to. You're in safe space. So, but no matter where you go, don't go with an expectation. Go with a desire to heal. Don't go comparing out. She ain't even offered me no water. You could have brought one with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, go and get what you came for. Right. The ethics say that we can't be your friend. Nope. We can't. I'm trying to keep all my little bit of stuff. But what I can do is I can show up with you and allow you to show up in your essence. No judgment. A therapist's job is not to tell you what to do, at least not the type of therapist that I roll with. We are to help you find your own answer, because who is going to tell me what to tell you? I don't get to tell you what to do. You have your own answers. Sometimes we just tap into that knowing, because everything that we've been through has clouded the fact that we are Black Girl Magic. That we know what we know when we know what we know. Sometimes it's the relationship that failed. My brother used to tell me that I didn't have a 4-head, I had a 5-head. So I ran around the earth trying to wear that raggedy bang. You know what I'm saying? The trauma. Right? Healing is a beautiful place to be, but it starts and ends with you. Your healing can look the way you want it to look. It can be a beautiful story that has its valleys. But it also has its heights, because you're not reliving what you've already lived through. You're healing in spite of it. You don't have to heal from it. You're healing in spite of it. It happened. Can't take that away. Like, I can't take the molestations away. I can't take the gang rape away. I can't take the decisions I've made away. I can't take the fact that they said I couldn't come to my children's father's funeral because it was my fault that he was dead away. My trauma can't go away, but I get to look at it through a different lens. And that's all trauma treatment can offer you. Can't nobody take it away. It happened to you. Happened, and we want to own the fact that we hold space for it. Happened, and you survived it. Now what?
Yes. That would be.
I almost pulled out my insurance card.
You just made a session.
I was like, wait, what's your cap? I got to pay my copay. Run my card.
Yeah,
So
it's a movement.
On a lighter note, right? So all of that was
I was
deep and
over here.
educational, and we appreciate it, because so many people that we're trying to touch and we're trying to help heal and take through our roller coaster rides of different things that we've been through. We definitely wanted to share you with them to put, a stamp, an exclamation point on what we're doing.
Yes.
But on a lighter note, what did you think about the Will Smith smash?
Oh.
The whole trauma. Whoop, the
That's
trauma.
Right?
That's
why,
that's it.
Well, since you brought it up,
Just hold that fan. I'm a little hot over here. That is not. I'm gonna need that fan. I'm a little hot over here.
Since you brought it up, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you first of all that I won't judge what happened, because of course from the outside looking in, none of us could know the different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to say that at some level, some type of trauma response happened there on many levels, So I don't negate the fact that violence is not the answer. All right, the people can pay me for that commercial. All right, no. Violence is not the answer, right? I think somebody said violence is never the answer. But if I don't know anything but that, or if I feel like my back is up against the wall, then that's what you're getting. Mm-hmm. So what had happened was that day, there was a failure to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And in that failure to communicate, a trauma response happened. Like, some people might say, okay, Chris Rock deserved it. Some people may say that. And if that is your point of reference, then you have your reasons for saying it. Well, the fact that this was the second time that you did this on the Oscars, and fact check me, I'm okay with that. Or because that's his wife, no matter what's happening in their house, that's still his wife. I know that we're a comedian, but then I don't know where that fine line is. But if you get slapped, you do know where that line is now. So what I'm saying is, we could look at it a lot of different ways. We could say that Will Smith, because initially Will Smith laughed. And what I want you to know is, even going back to trauma, you've had women or men who have gotten raped and who have stayed in the relationship because they're in a trauma state. Their front is not on. So in other words, I'll laugh at your jokes even though you hurt me because I'm still in trauma, right? So for whatever reason, he laughed. And then whatever transpired after that, it might have been that look. I don't know if y'all saw the look. Did you see the look?
I saw the look.
Did y'all see the look?
I saw the look.
So I don't know what that look spoke into his being. But after that, he made a conscious decision. And that decision may not have been in my wise self. So sometimes we go back to what we call adaptive child state. So in my adaptive child state, sometimes I resort to what I resort to. So maybe straight off the bat, it was fight or flight. I'm fighting. You. So you know what I'm saying? And you may say that on his way up there, he had time to think. Of course, all of these things are true. But have you ever been in a hostile situation and somebody asked you, I'm going to take you to a movie. I don't know if y'all know this movie. What do you do when a gun is at, I don't know, I can't say it verbatim, but when I'm in trauma, I'm in trauma. I can't get you details. That's how you got your Emmett Tills. That's how you got your people that's on death row and it wasn't them. Because when I'm in trauma, I can't give you factual information. So he did what he did, right? And for every action, there's a reaction. I'm pretty sure that even if Chris Rock and his, whether it's honor or whether it's shock or whether he's processing, decided not to take that to a different level because that day could have been very different. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Could have been very different. And so, considering everybody in their prospective places, they did what they did with what they did and it ended the way it did, but there are going to probably be some more repercussions, whether that be shame, whether that be guilt. Will Smith, if you need a therapist though, like I'm down here in Baltimore, right? And not because he's crazy, but because even in that was trauma. You saw 5 emotions all at once, like laughter, slapping, crying, standing ovations. Like a lot happened that night. Like it was a lot going on in that space. So it was a lot of trauma that happened. And so what I'll just say is, I'm glad it wasn't me. Although if it was, I would stand on the fact of saying, trauma makes me do some things that just may not make sense.
You glad it wasn't you that slapped him?
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't me that slapped him on live TV. You know what I'm saying? With witnesses and things and such, Right. Because now, of course,
he has to suffer the repercussions.
Yeah, because they're going to be some. And even if it's only that thing will be played over and over and over again. Just like the trauma of the entanglement. You know, how those things how we take those things and we taunt people with them and we don't even understand that it's connected to a thing. Like, I'm pretty sure Chris Rock didn't know that Jada had alopecia. Hell, that might not have even had anything to do with the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? It may not have been about anything, but it was about what it represented for somebody.
For her.
For a couple of people.
Yeah.
Because after further reading, I realized that I think Chris Rock had gone through some trauma where he was robbed and he was slapped or something to that effect. So in other words, you could have taken him back to a trauma state. You know, so it's levels, so many levels to that the naked eye can't see. Yeah. But one thing for sure and two for certain, we have what we call body memories. And that's one that he gonna need a whole therapist if he wants to heal from whatever that is. And I won't judge his that is. But what I will say is there was a lot of trauma that happened there. So that's just it. I won't say that nobody was right or wrong because who am I to pass judgment? Like he who has no sin cast the first stone. I'm definitely cricketing. Crickets over here. Right? Because I don't get it right every day. I can mess up a one-call funeral. But what I know for sure is at some level when we're attuning with people and we're able to see them for where they are and who they are, then we're able to see them differently. And what I saw was a broken man for whatever reason. I saw just a lot of trauma.
So you would say that particular incident, do you feel like it had nothing to do with Chris Rock? It had everything to do with that moment in Will Smith's life, that particular moment, that everything that transpired up until that point he was just the person that
He was a casualty of war.
yes. It was like if one more thing just going to trigger me.
One more
thing.
thing.
One more.
Because they
thing.
showed a clip where I think Regina King had said something earlier that night about, you know, a joke about their marriage, like for all the single men. She was like, Will Smith can come up because So that wasn't even the first joke about their marriage.
And at some level, you know, and at some level, the look did it for me because it was something, I don't know if you've ever been in church or in a store, and I don't know if you had somebody in your life that could give you a look and you would get your whole self together.
Oh, my Bishop True.
Your whole self, right?
Bishop Evans used to look at you.
Come on.
I'm usually one to give the looks.
You give the looks?
Yeah,
me too.
But you got the looks from somewhere. Who gave them to you?
No, Mom.
Okay, there you go. That thing generation, right? So you get the look. And so he got a look, and whatever that look connected with inside of him,
I'll give him that look.
it said, that look could have said, you are pussy whip. I don't know what that look said, right? It said, you better do something. It could have said a lot of things. But whatever it said, this is what you're going to do next. And that's that. Yeah, and the story not over.
Oh, it's not over.
It's definitely not over.
They're gonna address it at the next red table talk, and I'm just like, well, how do y'all know? They said she told her story about alopecia, but how do you know Chris Rock? Why?
Nobody can assume that. Nobody can assume that he knew that. So.
I mean, the truth be told, she is a little bit. You know, even her mother is like they built the same. So like they both could go for a cool. I'm not gonna say the truth because what I'm not gonna do is get Will Smith. So, but like I think that. Like at some level, for me, it was because I could look at it a lot of different ways. Yeah. But apparently, in
the
Will
way
Smith, she took it, and the way he
received it,
whatever happened, he felt insulted at some level. And so that's what I would say. When you never know how communication is two ways.
He felt insulted. I think she felt insulted, and that look made him feel like he needed to defend what she was feeling.
I can finally defend my wife.
Wait a minute. I can finally maybe undo the entanglement stuff. Not that was everything that had to do with that, but I know maybe it was something in my trauma that says you're not enough. But if you do this, then maybe
I'm gonna show her.
That part.
I got her back, man.
You know, so it's all in my trauma and how I receive it and what my trauma response is. So we do what we do because of what we do.
One more question. Do you think in the moment when he gave his speech that he then realized, oh, I messed up. I did it the wrong way?
I'm not sure that I would say that there's a realization that I did it the wrong way. I think there may be a realization that I could have done it a different way.
Okay.
Because if I say wrong, then I assume that there is a right or wrong. Because in his mind, he was reacting to whatever was happening in his personal body space. And in my body space, if I feel fight or flight, if I feel like if you corner a rat, the rat coming up out of there if he try to live. Right? So it's a survival state. We talked about that earlier. He was in a survival state. But now, when you kind of sitting over there a little bit, and you realizing a little something, you're like, what the what? Because it's almost like an out of body experience. Like you watching yourself up there, like, no, don't do that. Like you know, like wait a minute, come here for a minute. Let me holler at you for a minute. But it's all, but I'm already in it.
Too late.
I'm in it.
Yeah, something had to transpire. Something like you went from receiving an award from another academy 2-3 weeks ago, ain't acknowledge her, didn't kiss her when you win, walked behind her, walked past her, gave your speech, didn't mention her, to I'm gonna defend my wife. This is my wife, I'm gonna defend my wife.
But that wasn't the initial reaction. The laughter, you know,
he was laughing.
He did because in his mind, because he's a comedian. I remember him from
I think he got the joke as Chris Rock was giving it, because Chris Rock said, this is a joke about G.I. Jane.
Yes.
Not about alopecia. It was
right.
about G.I.
And so he
why am I getting this? I think Will Smith heard the G.I. Jane joke.
And it was funny because he's a comedian at heart.
Right.
That's what y'all do.
Right.
Like I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line, Will Smith may have said something that compromised somebody's feelings.
Of course
he did. So, you know, and at the time he said it in the sake of comedian. hoodism.
That word. I make up words all the time. It's fine.
Don't look that one up.
Because like I said earlier, I'm sorry to cut you off, but the whole the Regina King joke, they both looked uncomfortable when what she said, but when Chris Rock said his joke, like we all saw, he laughed at it. Because I think he really was getting the G.I. Jane joke of it. And so he looked at her face. And
he didn't see it was insulting, but when he got the look.
And that's what I'm thinking, like, was that look meant for Chris Rock or was that look meant for you as my husband, knowing what I go through?
It was meant for him because she looked at him and gave him that. When he turned around, she was looking at him and she gave him that.
Like, here we go again. Yeah. Somebody doing or saying something and I don't feel like you're protecting me.
I'm sorry to smile, but my friend sent me that as a meme today because she said her and her husband in Walmart and them. He said the random chick is about to make my husband get it, and she sent me that meme. She said, "Oh yeah, I had to give him that look," and so she sent me the meme, and I looked at it and like that was a whole look. And I'm not sure because remember, communication is two ways: what you hear and how you receive it. All I have control over is how I deliver it. How you receive it is through your own filters.
That's on you.
So her look might have been saying something totally different. Her look might have been saying I got gas. I don't know. But the way he took it was, this is how I need to respond.
Hey, it's your girl, Genice Chantel. Listen, my entrepreneurial journey has taught me one very important thing, that I am no punk. This past year, I've shed things that no longer serve me the way I feel fit, and I'm only doing things that bring me joy. Genice Chantel Wax Experience has been my baby for the past year, and it has grown so much over the past year. I am super excited to celebrate my 1 year in business and my new life. I look forward to seeing everything that I've envisioned for myself and my business. Get the wax, sis.
Well, thank you, Miss Robin. You gave us an earful today. We appreciate you coming, and we hope that you come back and join us soon.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you guys for showing up with us again. And like we always say, you are not alone. So if you need the support, the help, talk to somebody.
Absolutely.
And how can they reach you on, how can someone reach you if they're interested in your services or think they tough enough for you?
Well, I can send you to a referral spot because I'm full. Come on, guys! That part! So that's the blessing, that this had nothing to do with me. So in essence, like right now, you can, we have so many directories. And so what I'm going to do is I want to, JaNeka, if it's okay with you, I'll send you a list of some directories where they can go and actually, we out here doing what we do. And so what I know for sure is that you can find someone that can take you to at least point B.
Okay.
So I definitely will send over a list of some referral, like I said, right now I have a concentration in like social justice, intersectionality, microaggressions. So I'm on one right now. So it's like now we're doing the rise with Black Therapists Rock and all of these other ones, clinicians of color and all of that. And so we want to make sure that we are representing in a different way than what sometimes we remember therapy to be. And so definitely I'll make sure Miss JaNeka and all of you guys have that information so you can pass it on to the multitudes, because it's a movement.
Yeah.
They say generational trauma and we say generational healing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow. It's been amazing.
It has been. So thank you guys for tuning in again to Becoming Her. Keep healing,
evolving, and restoring. See you next time.
That part.
Tried your best, worked real hard, said your prayers, gave it to God. He made a way when you saw none. Erased the fear, helped you overcome.